Ah. The very moment I laid eyes on the scene, two facts were immediately apparent to me. Oh, really? Two facts, you say? Okay, let's hear about them. Mr. Sholmes, tell us, please. What two facts were apparent to you? Oh, our own Lord and Savior. What facts were apparent to you when you came into this cabin this morning? Ah, yes. First, let us be precise. The two facts in question were immediately apparent to me. Yeah, I understand. But what were they? Allow me to elucidate. The two facts that I deduced from a mere momentary glance at the scene of the crime were as follows. Number 1. The cabin was locked from within, rendering escape of the culprit out of the question. Okay, and? Number 2. The victim was Russian and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance. Was Russian and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance. Hold on, Mr. Sholmes. What made you think the victim was Russian? I mean, yeah, we have the Russian, quote-unquote Russian word on the floor. You observed the dying message left by the victim on the floor. That is the Russian word for wardrobe. Is it? Do you really think Kazuma-sama could have left a dying message in Russian? In their final moments, many find their native tongue filling their heads. For this young man, Russian. Yeah, you do have a point. If this were truly the dying message of Kazuma, he would write it in Japanese for sure. For us to see it. No way they would write it in Russian. For like random crew members to find it out. Kazuma was Russian, was he? Initially, I considered Garderobe may be the name of the killer. A certain Robert Gar, perhaps. But in the interest of Florence, I decided it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe there at least. Where you found Mr. Naruto sleeping soundly. Quite so. I found you. The renowned Russian revolutionary killer. Why is it that I'm the Russian too? I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you are acquainted. And if my memory serves, that outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people. School uniforms are the traditional dress of the Russian people? I had no idea. And I certainly had no idea the detective could get something so wrong. Yeah, he must be fooling with us. I took a photograph of the victim in the message, that I might analyze it for possible hidden details. Yeah, there you go, that's what I was looking forward to. Can you tell us, can you show us this photograph? Yeah, would you look at that? This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed. Yeah, Kazuma had already been taken away when I woke up. And this is the first time I've actually seen him like this. Okay, so it says wardrobe. It is definitely a possibility that the true culprit, who is a Russian, who is not Kazuma, would write that, like right over there, just so that we would pay attention to the wardrobe and check it, to pin the crime on Ryunosuke. They knew that Ryunosuke was inside, and they would pin the crime on him since he was inside the wardrobe, but in actuality it was somebody else. It was a mistake for our Russian killer, if we're talking about a Russian killer, to write, not only write that in Russian, he should have written it in Japanese, but also, like, Kazuma's finger was not in ink, telling us that he didn't write that. So, Yeah, there is that. Like, I guess if that is the case, if it's as simple as that, we kind of deduce that for now. Maybe there's gonna be something even more complicated than that. In that sense, we do have to discover how the culprit escaped the locked room. Oh, yeah, thank you. The Russian word for drove job in purple ink. It would appear to have been written in the victim's final moments. Now, again, kind of like the study in red, like, it could be wardrobe, but it could very well be something else. Like, I'm keeping my mind open to the possibility that maybe it meant something else, but for now, it definitely sounds like it would be wardrobe, if we are to trust Herlock Sholmes. Because why wouldn't we trust Herlock Sholmes over here? He's the one and only. Of course it's wardrobe. Of course it is. But still, I'm keeping my mind open. What, pray, do you want to ask? You mentioned Russia before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all that. Ah yes, the train of reasoning that led me to the truth. Would you mind explaining that train of reasoning to me, do you think? Certainly, if it interests you. How many times... Okay, I'm not Russian, I don't speak Russian. Okay, so we got confirmation, like narratively speaking, we got confirmation from our boy Ryunosuke that he doesn't speak Russian. Now, whether he started studying Russian at school, that is a completely different thing, because you can say that that you're beginning to study Russian and you picked up some words over there, but you can still say that you don't know Russian because you don't know how to like you only know like 5 words, that's it. So yeah, but you know what, maybe this is splitting hairs. For now, we're gonna go with the idea that Ryunosuke doesn't know like any Russian like at all. He doesn't know like a jack shit, like any word whatsoever. So there's that. Your deduction just now. Can we talk about your deduction before? The things you concluded about me, I mean. The now famously accurate, troubling predicament you find yourself in. Actually, it was the other details that I was more hoping to discuss. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary and assassin of 16 part. Are we seriously asking about that? I mean, I thought that was a joke. Ah yeah, the more sordid details. It was a fairly commonplace deduction. Unless, what he is telling us right over here, this would apply to the actual culprit of this case. Let me read this again. Russian revolutionary, an assassin of 16. So we're talking about a serial killer over here. Here we have this morning's paper. The main headline reads: Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. This vessel made a port call at Shanghai yesterday, and last night the young Russian was murdered. Since when was Cosmo Russian? It sounds like Mr. Sholmes has concluded he was Russian because of what Kazuma-sama wrote on the floor. It was a simple act of reasoning to realize that the culprit of his crime was the same listless revolutionary. Like, okay, you know what? I do have to mention this like early on. If it was anybody else other than Herlock Sholmes over here, we would question their intelligence over here. But since it's Sholmes, the one and only, it kind of makes you question, like, it makes you think first and foremost that he knows that Ryunosuke is not Russian or something like that, and he's just fucking with us to gather some information about us. Like, in the end, he is gonna say that, of course, Ryunosuke was not this revolutionary Russian. but it was actually somebody else. Like, he knows better. Like, he's not joking, or like, he's not saying all this stuff believing that what he says is the truth about Ryunosuke. It's just that he's saying some stuff like wrong in order to get some information out of people around him. Like, that's one thing. So in that case, the only thing that we can do is try to interpret Herlock Sholmes throughout this, and by the end of the case, we would determine like what stuff he said was actually the truth and what stuff he said was actually like bluffing in order to gather some information or something like that. Or if he was actually wrong about some stuff. Like, who knows, maybe he actually thinks that Ryunosuke is this revolutionary Russian and such. In which case, that will be kind of disappointing. But I tend to lean on the side that he knows that Ryunosuke is not the Russian revolutionary, and he's doing this to like get a reaction out of us. One who would kill the very man who helped him to escape after his true identity was discovered. Like, TLDR, Herlock Sholmes, he is a bit of a mystery in itself when it comes to when he deduces some stuff. So we should not take everything that he says as like at face value yet. Like, we have to think for ourselves as well. Yes, you, villain Bolshevik. Oh no, how can it be me? I don't look anything like this man. Just look at his face. Well, you are a fearsome revolutionary after all. Therefore, you have no doubt learned to revolutionize your appearance as well, yo. If there is such a thing as revolutionizing someone's face, then maybe. And I might add, your name does not appear on the ship's passenger list. Need I say more? Well, even if Ryunosuke is not the revolutionary Russian, that does bring suspicion to him. Well, that's because I'm a stowaway.
What about the other details? The 16 victims of assassination and blowing up the Crystal Tower.
Ah yes, the journalist clearly interviewed the man and printed all those particulars in the article. The deeds the man has perpetrated thus far, and those he's plotting. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There can be no mistake.
Do revolutionaries usually agree to invert interviews with newspaper reporters? I wonder...
What about the part where you said I was just returning from Afghanistan? Also quite clearly stated here in the article. Bolshevik has recently returned after a period of subversive activities in the war-torn region of Afghanistan. Where even is it anyway? This Afghanistan place. Yeah, you should study some more geography, Ryunosuke. Just saying. Here, take the paper for yourself. It's a little memento of this great deduction. Oh, thank you. I've absorbed all that is of interest to me within its pages, but I see no rubbish bin nearby. The article about the revolutionary has been entered into the court record. An article on the front page of a Russian newspaper. The headline reads, Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees via Russia, via Shanghai. And you may find the article on the back page of interest as well. Got it. Let me examine this.
I'm afraid I cannot read a word of Russian.
Nah, me neither. I have no idea what any of this says. The pair of you floundering is a story. The pair of you floundering is a sorry sight. Allow me to offer some assistance. The article on the front page of this newspaper is concerned with a fearsome Russian revolutionary. It reads, Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. Yeah, you told us that before. It reveals also that those who see the man's beard with their own eyes never live to tell the tale. Oof. It is... Yeah, I mean, it is an okay beard, I guess.
Oh my goodness, he is fearsome.
Oh, well, presumably the newspaper photographer was alright, wasn't he? The solution is obvious, of course. If he despises his beard to that degree, he need only shave it off.
I'm not quite sure that's the problem, Mr. Sholmes.
I mean, you also have to take into account the nose. I guess. Okay, anything else? Just a photo. What about on the back? Oh, what's this? This is interesting.
Hey, found something relevant? About the sun?
Well, no, I mean, it looks like it might be interesting.
I cannot read a single word, I'm afraid.
Nor can I. But look at this picture. Perhaps it's about the beautiful young Russian princess, do you think?
Yeah, she's very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, do you?
I don't know. I cannot make any sense of it. I think that she was asking you, like, for multiple meanings there. Ryunosuke. Well, I'm glad you noticed this article.
Ah!
Allow me to give you a short summary of its contents. Oh, thank you. He pops up everywhere, this Mr. Sholmes. It's about the You know, it kind of makes you think of when we found him on the desk right over there. And afterwards he popped out of nowhere to spook us like that. It kind of makes me think that Sholmes over here just slid out like from the desk on the floor, and he moved all the way to us like a snake on the floor. And then he popped up. Ah! That would be something. It's about the disappearance of a young lady last night. A renowned prima ballerina of the Noby ballet disappears from Shanghai. During a performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reported missing. She is, of course, the talented young Nikolina Pavlova. Why are Russian names so hard to remember? It would appear the woman was in costume when she was found to be missing from her dressing room, wearing the diamond tiara you see pictured, which is worthy some 20,000 troubles. 1,000 troubles? 1,000 rubles. Oh, how much is 20,000 rubles?
I have no idea, but I'm quite sure it must be an unbelievably sum of money.
So Sasatan's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves. Yeah, it would be nice to see her with a little tiara. The tiara is the property of the Noby ballet. It would seem the director is beside herself with worry. Yeah, I'm not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover both Miss Pavlova and the valuable tiara. They requested international assistance at all ports with sailings to Great Britain.
Could this be another case of Russian fleeing his or her country?
It does seem to be the Russian thing to do.
I'm not even going to dignify that with a response, Mr. Naruto.
Yeah, like, what are you saying over here, Ryunosuke? What are you saying? Choose your words correctly. An article on the backup page of Russian newspaper. Renowned prima ballerina of the Noby ballet disappears from Shanghai. Okay. Okay, so we got that. From Shanghai as well. Actually, can we examine this? No, we cannot examine this further. And I guess that will be pretty much it. Can we check inside the newspaper? Yeah, I guess we cannot return the page on this one, can we? I guess not. On the back, cast your eye over it sometime, if the interest takes you, though you may need someone to interpret. It's all written in Russian. I couldn't hope to read it. You know, it kind of makes me think of, well, it would be something possible for a game like Zero Escape or the Summon Files, where you have like multiple like pathways, like a tree of pathways where you can go and get like multiple endings right over here. It kind of makes me think of what that would be in Ace Attorney, where you get like multiple pathways depending on how you investigate. For example, you would not investigate the newspaper like right now, but if you were to investigate the newspaper like much later, where Sherlock Holmes is gone and you cannot ask him, then you won't be able to read the newspaper. And when the time comes for you to solve the case, you won't be able to because you don't know what is said in the newspaper that would offer like big clues that would help you. So that would be like the case of a bad ending. But since we asked Sherlock Holmes over here what the newspaper means, we are on the good track of a good ending. That would be pretty interesting for Ace Attorney, but we all know that Ace Attorney is more of a straight pathway and such. It is a straight story and such. But I suppose it won't hurt just to glance at the article. Maybe there might be a picture or two. Before we started talking, you were examining Kazuma's desk, weren't you? Kazuma? Oh yeah, the victim. I mean, come on. For someone like him who knows Russian and such, he would not confuse Kazuma for a Russian. I mean, even his name is... Well, you know... A person can have, like a name of a different nationality, even though they are of their nationality right over there and such, you know. A person, like, who is not Asian can have, like, an Asian name. A French person would have, like, a British name and such, so, yeah. Like, a person's name doesn't define their nationality and such, so, yeah.
Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all?
Observe, for a moment, the desktop of the victim. Oh, did he actually read through that? We see that the victim was engaged in penning some text. London Diary. Kazuma's keeping notes of the trip. But... I don't think you should read his private writings. It could upset some people. Like, you know... There is Susato over here who might be able to... who might break your bones if you do that. Oh, tragic. And something you ought to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading. You mean you've read it already? It is my business to know what other people do not. Yes, believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese. Oh, I see. You're about to know what a Susato takedown is. Susato won't be able to do it to Sherlock Holmes over here because he's so famous. He's the one and only, after all. It kind of makes you think that the only reason that Susato has done it to Ryunosuke because, of course, they are friends. She would be able to do that to Ryunosuke. Sherlock Holmes, he's fine. Susato-san, are you going to throw the detective with one of your trademark takedowns?
I'm sorry, Naruto-san. What on earth do you mean?
Life is so unfair. Anyway, to return to the matter at hand. Namely, this diary belonging to the victim. It would appear the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author were cut short. Tell me, what is the nature of the writing? Pray be precise as to details. Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese. A smattering, dear boy. A smattering! Sayonara, bonsai, mikado. Naro naro. I trust you're suitably impressed. But this diary is littered with complicated-looking characters, of which I can read precisely none. Yeah, you're the type of person who only knows to recognize hiragana characters. Just like me. Ah! So what was that showing off about before then?
If you'll be so kind as to show me, I will be happy to read it to you, Mr. Sholmes.
I'm much obliged, my dear madame.
The final entry here in Kazuma-sama's diary consists of just 2 short sentences. The first reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound.
A whistling sound? These are very deep waters. Pray, go on. Okay, you know what? I guess this would shut my idea or like what I had before about how Susato doesn't want Ryunosuke to read the diary because um we would know something that both Susato and Kazuma would not want us to know about some secret plan that maybe Susato would know about some fake death that Kazuma would would know, of course. But since since Susato would be open to read this to Sholmes, I guess Susato's takedown from before was done solely for comedic purpose, not necessarily to hide like any extra detail from us. So yeah, I guess so.
The second sentence reads, 1:45 a.m. It looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill.
The speckled band. Ooh my. Okay, hold on, let me read this more. 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. Okay. Well, unless unless there are some other people on the ship that also speak Japanese and would write this, or it was Susato, or it was Ryunosuke. Unless we're talking about those people, this is clearly Kazuma, because we're talking about Japanese over here. And if it's Kazuma, then this tells us that he was still alive at 1:23 and 1:45 a.m. Let's see, what does it say? I can hear a faint whistling sound. You mean something like that? Or I mean, I can kind of I can kind of whistle, sort of. Like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sort of. Or was it like some like the wind or something like that? A faint whistling sound. Was like a speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? What on earth does that mean?
I have no idea. I never heard that expression before.
The ventilator grill, you say? The man was presumably referring to the lattice there on the wall, which connects to the adjoining cabin. Yeah, the adjoining cabin. A diary Kazuma was keeping of his trip to London. According to the last entry he made before his death, he spied what appeared to be a speckled band. But in that case, you know what I was talking about before, why does the game... I guess it could have been done for comedy's sake, but we could have convinced Susato to have us read the diary, but instead we've done this with Sherlock Sholmes. Why is that? What would be the difference between reading this like at the beginning versus knowing about this stuff later once we talked to Sherlock Sholmes? Like, what difference does it make? We could have just read this like at the beginning. Like, narratively speaking, I don't know. According to the last entry he made before his death, he spied what appeared to be a speckled band. So, I believe I've given you enough to consider for the time being at least.
Do you have somewhere to go?
As it happens, the victim's writing in his diary have piqued my interest. The matter warrants further investigation, I believe. And if I'm still too long, the seasickness takes hold.
Oh, I suppose. You're thinking of investigating the cabin next door, which the ventilator connects to?
Great detectives are a curious breed. Our minds rebel at stagnation. We crave mental exaltation. So yes, I intend to investigate. Hence the truth will become clear soon enough. Do you think perhaps that we could go with you? No, that would be somewhat complicated. What? But why? A simple glance at your wrist should reveal the answer. Oh, these. After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter. No? There's no point trying to turning it into a question. You're the one who decided I was a culprit in the first place. Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as the culprit at any point. Oh, see? There's the caveat that I was talking about. Let's see. You must be joking. You just said it only a moment ago. Dear me, you are clearly misguided. I would have no cause to say such a thing.
Well, actually, Mr. Sholmes, I did hear you say that too.
You're quite sure? Oh, that's very strange. I wouldn't have said that you have the face of a criminal, you know. Not really. So, were you looking at my knees before? Some great detective you are. Well, anyway, that was then and this is now. What do you mean? What I mean, sir, is this. If you are the culprit, then you must play the part more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate. Ah! No, it's just being plain rude. Yeah, he seems like quite a goofy one, and off he goes, having just laughed in my face. His sense of humor is as twisted as his name.
Naruto-san, what were you just standing there for? We must go and investigate the cabin next door as well.
Aren't you forgetting something? What about these?
There's no way I can... Hiya! After Kazuma-sama spent his dying moments struggling to leave us a clue, you're willing to give up? You're just going to roll over and accept your fate?
Well, he did do the rollover. As he gave me any choice on the rolling over part. Yeah, exactly. I mean, first time you did your Susato takedown so that we wouldn't investigate. And now you're just gonna use that same thing for us to motivate us to investigate? I think we still have some investigation to finish off in the first place, don't we? Let's carry on examining what we can in this cabin while we wait for a chance to sleep next door.
Good idea.
The situation doesn't look good for me, but there are still things I can do to help myself. And I owe it to Kazuma to do everything I can to find a way out of this, and bring the real culprit to justice. Yeah, okay. I mean, I do think of Sholmes over here as a chaotic person that we cannot 100% rely on. He is going to be of help to us, but Ryunosuke is still the protagonist.
That's Kazuma-sama's precious sword. You never went anywhere without it.
Yeah, he was always saying that a Japanese man's katana is his soul.
I believe he had to work very hard to convince the government to allow him to bring it on his trip.
I suppose that just shows how important it was to him. And now he's gone. I'm not ready to let his spirit go just yet. Okay. Well, I do have to question, cause, okay, There was no external wounds. It makes me think that the way he died was silent and such. But there are definitely signs of struggling around here. I still have to question what this bell is that Netsuko or like Nezuko or whatever. I think it was Nezuke, I think. Because the only thing that comes to mind is Susato right over here. She is the only one who's wearing a kimono. That's my dinner from last night. A roast chicken. It was really tasty.
Yep, it was very delicious, wasn't it? But did he eat it on the floor here?
I'm not a dog, Susato-san. I ate it at the table, of course. Which begs the question of when and how the plate ended up on the floor. Yeah, well, now that I mentioned the table, it does seem to be like all shuffled and such. As if maybe the stuff that is on the floor was originally on the table.
But Kazuma-sama didn't like chicken at all. But Kazuma-sama didn't like chicken at all, did he?
No, that's right. So I didn't touch it. Which meant all the more for me.
Oh no. Does that mean poor Kazuma-sama spent his last night on this earth with an empty belly? It's just too horrible.
I suddenly have a guilty conscience and an achy stomach. That chicken better have tasted well, Ryunosuke, cause you're gonna be living with that conscience for the rest of your life from now on. Oh god, I should have given him the chicken myself.
There's nothing on this table at all. The plate and the cutlery are all over the floor for some reason.
Yeah, it's strange. Last night when I went to sleep, I'm sure everything was still. Now, wait a minute.
What is it?
That's funny. I can't seem to remember anything about what happened after dinner at all. After dinner.
So then perhaps you are responsible for what happened to Kazuma-sama?
No. Yeah. Like, what is that? That looks like something that you put a book on, so that you can see it like right in your face, like a computer screen or something. You put the book like that. I don't know. I have never seen something like that before. I think. Yeah, there's this. Seigi. The Japanese word for justice. The birth strokes are straight and true, just like Kazuma.
Yeah, his calligraphy always was a reflection of his heart. Yet can you really look at those characters without feeling ashamed, knowing who drew them so thoughtfully?
Of course I can. I mean, I'm innocent, so why shouldn't I be able to?
Even though you stowed away on the ship?
Got you there, son. Now you're going to bring that up, are you? I cannot win. Okay. What about this? This feels odd. The books have fallen over on the shelf. No, but they all toppled the same way.
What's this? Is that just some god of the sea? Although he's fallen over as well.
Yeah, it's almost as if the whole shelf has been ransacked. Everything mown down at once.
I wonder if perhaps it was Kazuma-sama doing his morning sword training, don't you think?
I seriously doubt that. Because if he were to do that kind of damage, then surely I would have felt like a sword cutting the wardrobe while I was inside, and that would have been game over for me. And then
perhaps it was you, Naoda-san, in a fit of rage.
I wouldn't have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books and statue. Could the way these things have been thrown about have anything to do with the case, I wonder? Maybe while culprit was looking for something. I'll just set everything straight again. I like to see a mess. there does seem to be, like, feels empty now. Okay. Anything else? Anything in the bed? Hold on.
This is... yeah, it's a bell cord contraption, I think.
A bell cord? What do you mean, contraption?
I read about it in a book I was studying that talked about life in Great Britain. Large households often have bell cords like this, which you can pull to ring a bell to summon servants.
Oh, so that's where the bell is coming from. As far as I can see. Really? That sounds almost magical. Shall we give it a little try?
Yes. In the interest of cultural research, obviously.
It still has a bell, it seems.
I suppose nobody comes for lowly Japanese people.
Ugh. I'm sure it's just that everyone is busy, that's all. Because I was thinking that this will be empty at this point. There will be like no bell on it. But, okay. There was a bell. You can use that. Kinda makes me wonder. Like, we can surely talk to... Okay, I have to do this. Okay. Can I check a little bit to the right? No? Okay. Yeah, there definitely seems to be some struggling. What about this? These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Beauty. It's essentially a list of requests from the captain to all passengers on board. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Well, why are you saying at me?
Oh, sorry. I was just thinking. Are you more of a dangerous object or a pet?
That is a mystery in itself.
I cannot decide.
Well, one thing's for sure. Either way, I wasn't supposed to be in here. Same goes for a sword. I wonder if Kazuma put that sword, like, inside the wardrobe as well, together with Ryunosuke. Let me search this.
I went for help and the crewman forced the door open. This bolt had been firmly closed.
It's quite a small bolt, and not particularly sturdy. And it just slides across to secure the door shut. But still, with the door bolted, there will be no way to get in or out of the cabin, that's for sure. Yes, no wonder everyone suspects me. She glares at me like that, I feel tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel. The culprit used a needle and thread to draw a bolt across from outside the room in a situation like this. Yeah, I was actually thinking of that. Like, you could use like a string and they would make the string go through all the way through that vent on the left to the other side, to the other cabin. And all the culprit would need to do is just pull the string, and that way the slider on the door would go to the left, thus it would close. But in that case, you would also have to pay close attention because you don't want the string to go, like, be left here. So they would also have to pull it like really a little bit harder so that the string would loosen up and bring it back to the other cabin. So,
Yeah, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself. But the door of this cabin and its frame are made of metal, and they seal together perfectly. There will be no possibility of using that needle and thread trick here, I'm afraid.
A needle and thread trick. What are they talking about exactly? Like, what trick are they talking about here? to draw a bolt across from outside the room in a situation like this. From outside the room. The door of this cabinet and its frame are made of metal and they seal together perfectly. Uh-huh. She glares at me like that. I feel pins and needles all up and down my spine. Oh. Look over there.
The crewman, do you mean? He wasn't there before, was he?
That's what I thought.
Why don't we try talking to him?
Probably because I'm likely to get yelled at again. Might as well as I could try. Okay. Well, we could talk to him. We could also talk to the guy on the right. I was gonna talk to him as well. Is that?
Is something wrong now, Hida-san?
Oh no, it's just that crewman standing by the door. I feel like I've seen him somewhere before.
Oh yeah, you're right. He does look familiar.
Hmm?
Excuse me, sir.
Oh my god! It's, Hasanaga. Yes, what can I do for you? I recognize that face. But it cannot be. Yeah, I guess so. We are actually gonna be having like a gumshoe type character. We're gonna be having like a reoccurring character like every single time. And it's gonna be this guy. Yep, same old quirk. Although it's really unhealthy, you should go see a doctor about that. It is.
I didn't know you were here, Inspector Hasanaga.
Oh god. Okay. Well, I am prepared for shenanigans once again. So, can you please give us like the clues that you found at the scene of crime, please? Hello again. What are you doing here? I think that should be my line. I was so stunned when I saw you. My heart stopped.
Nearly stopped, I hope.
I received some special orders to go undercover as a member of the crew and board the ship. Oh no, special orders. No! Okay. Again?
You suddenly seem to enjoy undercover work, Inspector.
If there's anything I can do to help you, please ask. Okay, well, first and foremost, I do have to ask you this. Are you undercover to try and, like, okay, you are undercover to try and find somebody, maybe that Russian revolutionary, but I hope that you're not, well, actually, you know what? We're talking about the English and Japanese treaty, so I doubt that you be tasked to hide our culprit, our possible culprit over here because of their nationality. It's because they are Russian, and as far as I'm concerned, there's no Russian peace treaty. I never expected to see this man on board. Perhaps his presence can help me out of this hopeless situation. Yeah, so I'm hoping that this time he's gonna be able to give us like the stuff like a lot easier. No? Can I converse? Okay, so tell us, what are those special orders? So, what are your special orders this time, Inspector?
Yeah, and why are you dressed as a member of the crew?
I'm so sorry. Hmm? This is all my fault. I take full responsibility. Hasanaga, what did you do? For what? My orders were to act as Asagi-san's bodyguard. Oh.